Beautiful. Well, welcome, Hannah. So, love to hear you had a great weekend and some stuff you want to just share and talk about as the expert in bookkeeping, as a financial literacy coach. What's some stuff you can share with us for this week?
For this week, the
Yes,
coming week.
this coming week. It's a
So
Monday
this
when we're
week,
recording this. So,
it's a Monday. It's the first of October, first week of October nearly. So we are now in another quarter ended. So for me, this week will be starting working on superannuation compliance for my clients, start working on September BAS lodgement, helping client close out the books so the tax agent can lodge their 25 financial year tax returns. So this week is all about compliance, making sure my clients are compliant, in control, and up to date with all their lodgement and obligations because it is important and we don't want to get penalties. My clients, business owners, especially small business owners, working extremely hard, do what they do best, supporting their client. And we don't want them to get penalties because they forgot, they didn't know that they had bus lodgement, or they didn't know that it was due date of superannuation. So this is my job, this is my role, and this is what I love doing,
wow.
making sure you don't need to worry about it.
I was just about to say, if I hear everything I'm hearing you saying, I'm glad it's not me and it's you. And are you passionate about what you do that makes you do this?
I'm passionate about it. I love it. I work with many micro small business owners who put their heart and soul and every minute of their time into building their
Mm.
businesses, supporting their client, doing what they do best. Um, so for me to have this overwhelm and anxiety and the worry about what do I need to do and when do I need to lodge and not even knowing what they need to do at times because we can't know all. It's something I'm really passionate about. And when they're telling me, I have you and it's a peace of mind, that's the best reward ever.
Totally, I can hear that in having walked with you for a while, that I think the hardest thing is trying to get business owners to recognize that it's okay to find someone like you that will take the pressure off, and the pressure will come off, but just getting to that point of finding someone can be a huge pressure in itself. So what would you say to someone who's all over the place, trying to build their business, doing what you just said? Their passion is not to do the books and comply as their passion, they need to do it as their responsibility. But as all business owners do, we tend to focus on our passion, not our responsibility. You're taking our responsibility, making it your passion. What would you say to someone who's trying to get over that stress of just calling and knowing that you're not going to be told off, but you're going to be actually supported and helped? And eventually, 6 months from now, 3 months from now, a year from now, you're going to be all excited as a business owner because you've got someone like you in their corner.
I think you hit it on the nail because often we feel ashamed, we feel embarrassed that we don't know something. We think that we should know everything. And as a small business owners, we're trying to wear too many hats.
Mm.
Um, and also, we don't know what we don't know. So you don't even know what to ask AI if you're using or Google, whatever it is you're using these days. You don't even know what to ask. So my advice is map all the processes, everything that you need to do in your business, your marketing, your bookkeeping, your compliance, IT, security, whatever it is, and think, do I have the expertise to do that? Do I want to do it? And find somebody who can help you and guide you.
Mm.
And the level of support that you get, it depends on you. Some providers that you will work with will do everything for you and maybe won't help you if you just want to learn. I don't feel that it is right because I feel that every business owners have the right to choose at what capacity do they want to do things. So if we'll take, for example, the bookkeeping, it is absolutely fine if you want a hand in your bookkeeping, but you need to engage somebody um, to guide you of what do you need to keep compliant, what is your daily tasks that you need to do, um, what to look for, what questions to ask. Because when we start working with a client, all the questions that I ask you, you suddenly feel that, oh, I didn't think about it. Do I need pay as you go? When is super is due? Do I need to pay my subcontractor superannuation? All those questions that you didn't even think. Um, so have somebody in your corner, even if you do choose to do something, but somebody to guide you, to teach you how to do that. And this is something I'm passionate about because I think that business owners should understand the books and the story that it's tell them, and financial literacy, understanding how to read your report is something that is important as business owners.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely perfect, and I love the answer. And I just going back to what you said at the start. I think as business owners, we think that we know should know everything, and but we didn't go into business with maybe knowing the tax laws or knowing the bookkeeping, how to keep your balance your books, how to read a P&L statement, or how to do this thing called BAS or GST, or do I comply or not, and how do I do? And so, I think you said something that's important that maybe a lot of people don't do, which is not is the that it's okay to have a team, and it's actually better to have a team, and you can have a team that knows a little bit more about certain areas than you, and the team doesn't have to be made up of just employees. They can be professional support around them, just like a bookkeeper, a financial literacy coach, like an accountant, like a lawyer, like whatever's required in those areas. They're still part of the team. So is it that our culture is not letting us do that in terms of the small business culture? And if you do find a resistance in that, what would you say to somebody to just push them past that and say this is a team is much more powerful, effective, and it's not about the money as well, because at the end of the day, you're making more profit in the end by having more time focused on your passion, I guess, right? If I offloaded some stuff to someone else that can do much better than me, I can then focus on what I do best.
I think the word is money.
Hmm.
And I think that when people start business, they're thinking, I don't know how much I will earn. I don't want to invest in my business. I don't want to spend. They will tell you that I don't want to spend. I don't have money to spend. It is not spending, it is investing in your business. Whatever it is, and because I'm a bookkeeper, we'll talk about bookkeeping. If it takes you 5 hours to learn something and you engage me for an hour of coaching, think about how much money you could have earned in in those 5 hours. Either how much money, how many clients you could have engaged or look for. Um, so it balances.
Yes,
So you need to think about it as investment in your
I love
business,
that. Investment
as
rather than an expense.
rather than an expense,
What
which
about
is but anyway, it is a business expense,
is
so
a business expense, but it's an
so it
investment.
maximizes your return.
It
But
just makes
that's
me,
it.
on a totally separate note of because of the investment, it makes me think of whenever I go to a restaurant, I always go up to them and say, "What's my investment?" rather than my bill. And the other day I did that at a souvlaki place and at a kebab, sorry, joint, and the guy's like, "Why would you call it an investment?" I said, "Well, I'm investing in your business, and I'm investing in this amazing food that you're going to give me." And he just had this big smile on his face. So I like the idea of the investment. Interestingly, though, people, when you talk about money, don't small businesses, though, a lot of them do take out a large amount of capital to start their business, or, well, may say large proportionally to whatever they feel, but most businesses feel like they have to have capital to start a business, but they don't include maybe the capital for good bookkeeping, compliance. It's almost like they'll do it as they wing it. And you were mentioning about money, but I'm just thinking, hey, but we when most businesses start, they look at the capital startups. Should they be including their bookkeeping costs in that? Because in the long run, it's going to save them money, make more profit, streamline as they scale up, if that's what they want to do, or even as they try to create more profitability and expand what their services and products are.
100%. If you set up your bookkeeping and understand where money is going, where money is coming, set up a budget, understand what can potentially be a deductible expense and what not. Have somebody to walk you through the P&L, analyze it for you, show you where you can um, maximize your income, earn more, maybe reduce your expenses, then you're in the right on the right track. Sorry. And it is more than that. It is establishing good habits and good processes and systems when you start your business, because this is the right time to invest both money and your time in setting up those procedures and processes and your systems, because when you grow, and some businesses grow very, very quickly, you don't have time for it.
Very true. So I guess what I'm hearing, you're in a bit of a hard industry in the sense of you're convinced you're having to convince people that there is a need because they don't realize there's a need till they get into a lot of problems. And when they get into a lot of problems, there's a lot of anxiety and pressure around it. So I would say I see a lot of business owners maybe doing the ostrich thing of burying their head in the sand to try and get out of things and then getting to a place where it's just totally out of control. And you're trying to get to a place where you've got to re-educate businesses to say, this is such an important aspect that you should be thinking about alongside everything else. And it will actually give you better rewards future wise, not just the long term future, but in the short term as well, because you're now kicking along and seeing how your money is working for you, how your products and services are working for you, because you have this thing much better, well organized. And I'm preaching to myself in saying this too, because being a business owner, I love the passion of the stuff I do, and I tend to put the bookkeeping for the last minute or the accounts for the last minute, but I can see the value of it. And over the time, I haven't met another bookkeeper as passionate as I have with you. And
Thank
you've educated me in this process of recognizing, we should be looking at this a lot more uh, vigilantly, and yet we
you.
don't. And there's a need for this to get out there, and there's not many people who are educating small businesses in this, including the government. The in Australia, the ATO is looking at picking taxes, making sure GST is done, BAS is done, everything is complete, compliance is done, but there is no education of saying, hey, when you start a business, you should be thinking about this from the beginning. I don't see that often spoken of.
I know, and it's a shame because I think everyone that start a business should have a coach, a mentor, a bookkeeper to walk them through the basics. And like you said, many clients are coming to me and they're saying, I'm overwhelmed, I'm embarrassed, because for many people, the bookkeeping side, the number sides is the hardest. And we tend to, as human being, we tend to put aside something that is hard, and then it becomes more overwhelming. And then they're, if they have an accounting software, they look into it and there are 50 transactions and 100 transactions and 500 transactions. So the more it piles up, the more overwhelming it is, the more we put it aside until we get penalties. I had clients coming to me after, 2, 3, 7 years of not doing their books, and it's costly. It is costly because engaging somebody to do it for you, would this investment will be less than the penalties that you make. And think about few years of anxiety and stress.
That's a very good point.
And
So waiting, each the longer you wait, the penalties you get, the anxiety, the pressure that maybe it doesn't allow you to perform at peak, would have all of that would have been saved if you had engaged a bookkeeper, had engaged proper techniques, bookkeeping techniques. I'm sure you also give advice on how to, moving forward, do things in a better
100.
way, in a better process. And so all of that would have reduced the stress and pressure. Um, Interestingly, I guess you come across as a friend, a supporter of loving that person's work, Whereas I know growing up, when I first started my business 20 plus years ago, my accountants would tell me off a lot. And I still remember having a lady who would yell at me because the guy would I had a guy who was of similar culture to my parents growing up, and he was a really good accountant. But then he moved on to open up another branch, and there was this lady who took over who was from the same culture, and she just felt like she could be my mom, and she was like, "Why didn't you do this?" And I had this negative view, and I know
Yeah,
a lot of business owners, they feel similar that they're in trouble somehow, and they attribute anything to do with finance with the ATO and with some sort of that they're not complying and they're getting in trouble, like getting in trouble with the police kind of thing, as opposed to you're coming across with, I'm your friend. I'm in your corner. I'm going to do everything I can to make you have the best opportunities of having your profits maximized, reducing penalties, ongoing costs. And so you come across in a very different way, which I think also needs to be re-educated and reintroduced into our entrepreneurial society.
thank you. It's so nice to hear because that's exactly what it is. I'm all about. I'm passionate about your business, and I will do everything that I can in my professional capacity to help you. Um, and everything is fixable. How like it's like you can't blame a child of you know wanting to put their hands in the electricity plug. They don't know. It's very curious, you know. You
Yeah.
need to educate them. Why is it dangerous? So it's all about the understanding. It's all about the education, and everything is fixable. Like we might not, penalties might still be there, but for the future not to incur them.
Mm.
And I had a client, they were behind, and after catching up, I did manage to speak with the ATO and to remit those penalties.
Wow.
So it is something that is possible, but first you need to be compliant and try to. So there is always an opportunity, maybe. Um, and what else did I wanted to say? I had a thought about what you said. Yes.
But
The
the
thing is, like you said, that people also don't understand the importance. It's either the overwhelm or they're thinking, I don't need this.
Mm.
So there are two things why you need this. First, even if there is no compliant, you don't need to lodge buses. How can you analyze your business if you have no idea how much money you're spending, how much money is coming in, where are your spending going? There is no way for you to be a very profitable business and grow your business based on data and not just guesstimating and thinking she'll be right.
Mm. I think that's
Another,
sorry, just a thought as you were saying that is that we don't think that's important.
no, unfortunately, we
Have
don't.
accurate information because it'll actually help us in life. I guess we've not been taught that in schools. We've not been taught that in our families growing up. Maybe our culture hasn't taught us that in society. We just get money and we spend it. Get money. If we don't have money, we try to find how to get more, but we don't stop to think of analyzing our spending habits, our producing income producing habits,
Yep.
tweaking things, which is where the ones who make more and do better in life are the ones who are tweaking areas by analyzing what they do. Like I analyze my sleep with my watch
Mm. But
and
we don't.
but we don't do a finances. I don't analyze my finances as much as I would like to. I do quick scans every week. I have a quick look at what's happening, but not to the level that you're talking about. And I can see, again, you educate even for me more and more after all these decades of business is that this could be a very simple thing that gives you an amazing report ahead and an overview of what's happening that can lead to better business, better service to community, better reaching out of products, and maybe even closing things that aren't working,
Yep.
figuring out that there might be something that's stealing money and leaking.
Yep.
uh, and if we close that, it'll solve some problems.
And I think it goes back to what you said before. Starting a business in Australia is very easy. You go online, you open an ABN, it doesn't cost you a thing. And people are passionate about what they do. So they will be the best electrician ever, or painter, or psychologist. But running a business is different. The fact that we are good at what we do is not the same as running a business. And like we spoke before, there is so many aspects of running a business, and financial is very important foundation, but it's only one of them.
And the reality is, we hear the statistics that say 80% of businesses close down in the first 18
First year.
months or first year. And then
Yep.
another 60% of 65% of the remaining 20% within 2 to 5 years are shut down. And so the reality is it's easy to start a business, but running one is the issue. And running one is not dependent upon your passion, it's dependent upon your responsibilities. And then either educating yourself or finding someone who can take care of those components that are required. And there is help out there, but we're not made aware of it. So we're very encouraged to start businesses, but we aren't encouraged to learn how to keep maintaining businesses. And being a celebrant, marriage celebrant, it's funny. When I help people out, I always say getting married is the easy part. Staying married. Has anyone told you about staying married? And they go, "What? What's that?" We're all excited about the day of the marriage and said that's great, but the staying. So I guess it's kind of
Yep.
like that with business, if I could use the same analogy.
No, it's a beautiful one.
Starting a business is very exciting, passionate. It's like something beautiful that takes ownership, but running it, keeping it maintained, like a car, it's if you don't do it, it's going to eventually come back and bite you.
Yep. You need to maintain it.
And so your passion is not, and I love the fact that you're not just not just doing bookkeeping, but your financial literacy coach is this whole idea of I need to educate, I need to make you recognize I'm there for you. But I'm also not just there for you for emotional side. I'm there for you with actual compliancy that is
Yep.
going to be so important because anyone can be there emotionally if they have the right tools and ability, but you're to have the emotional and the compliance and ability to go and check. And I know we're talking to some of your amazing clients I happen to know. If you don't know an answer, you always say, "I'll go check," and you do get back. So we
Yep.
can see it's a passion in it. It's not just you got up one day and said, "I'm good at numbers. I'll start a business," and yada yada. You went. I'm trying to solve a problem that is a huge gap that I think that no one is aware, where very few people are aware of, and we need to get that message out there.
Yeah, I'm part of your team. That's exactly it. So I'm somebody that you can email, and you can give me a call, and I will answer you because it is important. And I think that's why there is a gap, and there is a problem when you engage a service provider, an accountant, and bookkeeping, but they are not around,
Hmm.
not around to ask questions. Sometimes business owners just want to clarify, to ask a questions, and it is fine, and it gives them confidence, and they're, in charge and in control of the business journey, the business financials, and it is very important. I
So you
have
give them
clients who
better.
come to me because they just wanted somebody that they can speak. And, when I look at a book, it's like, uh, we have a problem here. Payroll is complete mess. Do you know that it was never lodged? It was not done properly. They have no idea because they trust somebody that, look at the books, or, you know, do something behind the scenes from time to time, but don't really know or have nobody to talk to. And then, when we fix up the books and I educate them and explain them what do they need to do and what receipts to keep and how to keep it and how we work together, we establish a system of working together because each business owner is different. So there is no one solution fit all. I want to work with you the same as I work with, you know, another business owner, even if you have the same business, because you're both different individuals. And then when they're saying, thank you, I appreciate your support, that's exactly what I needed, somebody to talk to. Um, yeah, that's
So
best.
Hannah, do you feel that part of your uniqueness is that you're accessible?
100%. Yep.
You feel
I am who I am. I am accessible. I love to help and support. Like you said, if I don't know the answer, I will find it. If I can't help you, I will refer you to somebody who can. And I'm always out and about and thinking about. I was at NDIS disability expo during the weekend because I have clients who are plan NDIS plan managers and support workers, and I wanted to see what's in the industry. And I was thinking, that's a good service that one of my clients can use to reduce their costs and make them more profitable. So I took business cards and ideas, and I will get back to them and say, look, I've met these business owners and it might be applicable for your business. See if you can save money on that. So my ears and eyes are always open to
Right.
my clients'
Your
need as a
client,
whole.
your client is not just another number or another book that you're doing. You're actually trying to get in touch, get into their vision and their purpose. And then if you find something that can connect, you would actually go beyond what we wouldn't expect a service provider of bookkeeping to do is to go beyond and say, hey, let me connect you with someone that or an industry or a section or an area that was actually going to potentially enhance your business. Um,
Yeah.
would you say that not many bookkeepers and maybe financial literacy experts would be doing this sort of thing currently, being accessible, being passionate about helping, not just providing a service, but actually helping enhance? Do you feel like there's not many out there?
I feel like that because when clients are starting to work with me, having a bookkeeper or accountant before that weren't accessible, I see that, I make a huge difference and I'm different in the way that I work with my clients. So 100%, I'm sure that they are there
Mm.
and there are many amazing bookkeepers there. But yes, I feel that I'm
And I think
different.
100%, I can agree that you are that. And you're right. There's not many that I've seen out there or heard of. Um, just another technical question, just maybe for anyone who's listening, who's a owner, business owner, whether they're just an individual or they've got a small team around them, because you focus on more the small, medium uh,
Yeah,
business side of things. Um, what would you get books ready to a place where literally they can give it to their accountant and say, get the tax done for the year?
yeah,
It-
100%. That's my job.
the accountant is not pulling their hair out and going, I need your receipts, I need your income,
No,
I need these bank statements. So they're just like, you've just got it to a place where you're handing it over to the professional who's got the qualifications to go, now I can lodge your returns, whether it's for the company, whether it's for the trust, whether it's for the individual, they'll just be able to, they've got all that in their hands. So that to an accountant who doesn't have bookkeeping services, that's gold.
that's gold because they know that they have somebody professional that they can trust that the books are accurate, up to date, and like you said, ready for taxes. And when you have a good account, like if the client have account that is also accessible, then you work with them throughout the year.
Mm.
So any questions that I might have, if not, I'm flagging that in the accounting software if there is something that they need to look at. So I will flag that. So it's very easy for them to find any questions there.
Amazing. So that's also, and you're accessible to the accountant. And so there's this almost, you're like a bridge between, you're like a nurse. I think we talked about this before. You're like
Yes,
a nurse between a doctor and a patient because we don't get the doctor's language. We don't get always what an accountant's
yep,
lingo, and you're the bridge between the layman's terms, but fully an expert in both areas, which is a much higher level than sometimes we give credit for. In the ability of, like we do with our nurses, we don't realize how much they have to understand both sides to converse with the medical doctors, experts in whatever yada yada area, and then come back to the client and come back to the patient and say, here's what you need to do to be compliant. But don't worry, I'll talk to you in normal language and explain it to you until
and
you
explain to you again and again until you get it.
and stay by your bed because
Yep,
I'll make the time. Even if I don't have the time, I'll make the time because that's part of my service.
yep.
So that is, I think that's a very important part. To me, the more and more I speak to you, the more I realize or I'm convinced that any business that I would be encouraging anyone I know who's starting new businesses is that if they are putting aside capital, they need to think about capital for a bookkeeper as well, because it'll save them a huge amount of effort. Because most of the time when they talk to accountants, it's a one-off thing before they get started. They might have a
Yeah,
couple more questions, and then we can't get in touch with them. Then, there's this barrier where you feel like I'm intruding if I call up my accountant and talk to him or her.
yeah,
Whereas a bookkeeper, and then I love the fact that you've put in the ability to go up one up and say I can coach you as well. I'm doing financial literacy because we need to educate our business owners, and it would be amazing in the next 5 years to bring down the statistics maybe of the number of businesses that are closing, even if it's down 1%. That would be a huge credibility to your industry of just being able to educate people in more financial literacy and the ability to say you can make better decisions before you jump in, and while you're there, you can run better, so you don't have to keep divorcing your business. If we use
yeah.
the marriage analogy,
Keep married. Okay, keep the
yes.
marriage.
Stay,
Yeah,
stay happy, stay married, that it's
yeah.
working well. And if it didn't, then you had to go and find another business. At least you've got some good experience around you. And one of the biggest things would be compliance with the accounting side.
I wish that will happen. 1% less, 5% less of business that are closing in the first year. Think about how many businesses that will prosper.
Yeah,
So
100%. And again, I guess that's the goal. That the more prospers, the more our economy prospers, the more each individual feels more empowered that they're running something that's working and they're more in control of maybe their time and their resources and what they want to do. So it's a win-win for everybody. And on the other hand, at the same token, places like the ATO in Australia, the Australian Tax Office, will are happy that there's compliance happening. They're not having to spend time chasing after, looking for uh, thing and trying to get compliance properly done, because they've got a whole lot of people who are more educated in this field than prior. So we normally focus on marketing being such an important aspect of business, but I guess I call it financial intelligence as part of the triangle. There's
yeah,
marketing and sales. Uh, there's customer service, and then the other big, huge pinnacle is financial intelligence. And this should be such an important aspect to our running business.
they're all equally important. One can't go without the other.
Hmm. And if we have one without the other, then we are creating an imbalance and asking for trouble at some point that
Yep,
could have been avoided.
yes.
But it's not too late. So having said that, now
I-
if we talk to somebody who's what you've mentioned, 7 years in, not done anything, they can still approach you and not feel guilty. And yes, there's a sense of responsibility. I should have done it earlier. I haven't, but here I am. If I
Yes.
keep going the way I'm going, I might have to get as worse as getting bankruptcy, maybe, or maybe my assets start getting taken away, or something else, penalties that are even more excluding. And again, that leads to what you said before, emotional uh, disconnection.
Stress.
There's stress, there's anxiety, there's fear, there's pressure, not knowing someone's knocking on your door in the morning to issue some sort of compliance or whatever. So it's not too late for them. What would you say to them if somebody's like they're going, I am really in a bad spot. You cannot save me. Is there anyone that you've ever met that you go, I can't save you, sorry, this is too much?
There is never too much. It's better to start now than not to start, or to start in 10 years, because the ATO will still want you to lodge your BAS and taxes. It doesn't matter. You will still. So it is never too late. Start now. We'll start with a conversation. I will ask you question. There is no judgment. And we'll build a plan moving forward. What is the best way to get you to where you should have been now? So to be compliant, lodge everything that you need to lodge, set up the processes, the systems, the bookkeeping processes for your business, educate you, and we'll work together. We'll build a plan and we'll work together.
A final thought on that is, would you say that you talk about processes, software, is that nowadays such an important thing in today's modern, like, I guess we've come to the technology that we use in everything else with AI, with computers. I don't think there's anyone who doesn't use smartphones or computers, the internet, browsers. Would there the software for bookkeeping, is it just as important in that category, would you say?
I would say 100%. I wouldn't recommend using anything else like Excel spreadsheet. Yes, I love Excel, don't get me wrong. They are awesome. Um, Having an accounting software, everything is in your fingertip. You can quote as you go. If you're an electrician, for example, that use quote, you can log in, snap receipts for compliance. You can look at your P&L at any given time. No data entry errors. um, Streamlining, creating rules and streamlining to make sure that it's easy for you to do your bookkeeping or have a bookkeeper to do that for you. So it saves you time, then it saves you money. It's a business expense, so it's deductible expense. And with the it's less than so accounting software, the minimum today will be less than a coffee a day. So I think if you can't afford a coffee a day to be compliant, and again, it will save you much time, then yeah. So
That's a very
100%.
very good way of putting it. Less than a coffee a day to stay compliant. It's worth doing, and it's required. Software is required. And I must say, I'm guilty of loving spreadsheets and not using software. And again, it's interesting. It all goes back to my first accountant because they used to use back in the day Myob, and all I saw was all these different colored tabs, and they'd click, click, do this, bam, bam, boom, boom, bang, and I'm like, what? And it looked complicated. And then think Myob came in, and you could download, and it was very, very clunky back. We're talking about, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
So I think for me personally, and maybe people who've probably been like me, who've been around from the technological advancements that have come in so fast, maybe have a negative view of this is too hard to use. But yet, you setting it up and literally feeding information nowadays is in from the bank statements, and making sure we uh, use, say, one account for a particular business if you have multiple businesses, and it just makes it so much easier to be able to tap in every Monday or Friday and say, this is my start of the
yeah.
week, this is my end of the week. I'm
You
ready over the weekend to think about what I'm going to do on Monday.
you don't forget. You don't forget to claim expenses because you don't know where the receipt. Everything is linked. And today the software are built to suit business, so that they are easier to use than what you're saying 20 years ago. So it is very user friendly, but it's a bit of a trap that they are user friendly because they are marketed as for business owners, which they are for business owner, and they're easy to use. They are easy to use. It's all correct how accounting software advertise, but we are go back to knowing what to do and how to do and understanding bookkeeping and compliance. You need at least somebody to set it up for you and train you how to use it, because if not, we are going back to being incompliant and not knowing how to analyze your business because you don't know what you don't know. So you can still be incompliant using a software if you don't know how to use it and you don't know what you need to use.
Very good point. So it's like going to buying a new car. You'll still be sat in the car and shown around it by the expert before you drive it out.
Yeah,
And so it's like that. You're buying a piece of software, but you need to be shown and things set up, and by having someone that they can engage with in doing that, it makes it much quicker. Does the software substitute for bookkeeping, or does it complement the bookkeeping side of
it's
things?
a tool to do your bookkeeping.
Right.
So it's the tool to help you.
So it's not substituting the need for having a financial literacy coach, having a bookkeeper.
Bookkeeper.
It's just
No, it is
making
not.
things quicker for the bookkeeper and for yourself. In I know if we're engaging with some stuff that we're doing with the nonprofit organization, and you're going to be asking for some things that if we had the software,
I didn't need to ask you.
we could. Correct.
Yeah,
So this is a
yeah,
perfect example of where we'll be setting things up that for the future, as we move the organization into the DGR status and the ACNC and all of this compliance for the next step, which is very exciting. Having the software and the bookkeeping expert with us in our corner will make compliance so important, and especially in a situation like with this organization, the money side is very important for us to be able
yes.
to get to the next
Yeah,
stage. The flow of how we're using it, what is coming in, what's going out, the categories. So these things will just be done without needing a bottleneck of one or two people in the organization sitting there going, "Oh, this was for this was for this expense was for this." This is just
yeah,
gonna just flow through that anyone could take that positional role within the organization, work with the bookkeeper, work with the accountant.
100%.
Compliance is there.
They can do the daily work, work with the bookkeeper, and also then we will invite the accountant and the tax agent. And like you said, the books are ready for them. And
You
they can see everything. They can see the receipts, they can see the categories, they can see whatever they need to see. So you don't need to prepare a spreadsheet and to send it to them, and then they might have done some things because that's their job. But if you don't get the Excel spreadsheet back, the next year you're doing exactly the same things, or you don't know what the final numbers are. So it's
Very good. A final question. I could be here all day talking to you. This is amazing, but we were going to keep it a starting point with this conversation. So auditing, people are afraid of, and I know I had for many years a negative towards being audited.
yep,
Um, I've come to maybe be aware, Hannah, that it's if I audit myself, as I do 30-day audits on my financial spending habits.
yep,
Why shouldn't I audit my own company on a regular basis so that if ever I am audited, it's a fun excitement of saying, "Hey, here's all the stuff. It's all there. Go through, ask me questions," rather than, "Oh my God, if I get audited, where am I going to find all the stuff? How am I going to justify this? How am I going to do this?" Would you suggest that this whole link of the software, having you on board, having your company on board with a business owner, would give them that second stage of if they're ready for it, not everyone is, but ready for saying, "Hey, we can basically do a self-auditing and even an external auditing, uh, f- which is not required by ATO, but it's there so that you feel comfortable that you're compliant."
yeah. It's what we talk about when we do coaching or support. I will tell you exactly what you need to do to be compliant. So that what I'm saying is you can then sleep well at night,
Yes.
knowing that you did your 100%, the best that you could to be compliant.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Somebody who has complex structures, will this work for them as well?
It will work for every business. It just will be maybe different compliant and different structure of your software, but
Yeah,
it can be trust. You can have superannuation funds with multiple properties under your super.
beautiful.
It's
So,
just a different structure, different business.
right.
Some are simpler, some are more complex, but
And people who have, say, a small business owner who's just a one-person show, one man, one woman, but they also have assets and investments in other areas that are under their personal. Again, the separation of being able to do this plus this, because a lot of business owners, I think, combine everything rather than recognize this is my business expenses. And then maybe I've gone and bought a property in my SMSF, but that's not a business expense. That's a
yeah,
separate entity that's to do with me individually. You
exactly. It's different entities and they need to be separated.
yeah,
So this will be the initial conversation is this your ABN? Are you a sole trader? Is it a company? Is this the SMSF? What are the properties underneath it? And so we need to separate each entity its own, you can't mix them. Each will have the different bookkeeping and the different compliance requirements, different software completely, like different file.
And that makes me think of even with the banks, if you've got compliance and you want to get a loan from a bank or a financial lender, you've got these books done that makes it easier. And I'm just reminded as you're talking about my sister, who's one of your clients, who recently went to get a car done, and I was sat there with her, and they were just uh, they were surprised and very happy. I remember the finance manager saying, "Oh, if you'd got a few of your best statements done," and she goes, "Yep, done." And it's like, "What? But you're not a year. You're only a year old." Yep, done. And
Yeah,
like literally over the weekend, everything was passed, and she got her car. And tribute to you and you
thank you.
what you did with her, but also for the fact that she was able to have said yes, done, 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 done. Um, and without it didn't feel like she had to do extra work to get that done because you were in her corner.
It was already done and ready. It was just compiling the documents that they needed, and that's it.
So this
So
is so,
again, once you're compliant,
yes.
you can produce any documents that are required for audit, for loan, for whatever, business loan, personal loan, purchase of a car for the business, whatever it may be.
So keeping the books is not just about uh, complying with one area. It's like literally a over the positives outweigh in everything, from compliance to you personally knowing what your inflows and outflows are, to being able to maybe get a loan, a business loan if required, look at housing loan, look at investment loans, machinery,
Yep,
equipment. So there's literally everything comes down to the flow. And a lot of people, I guess, who are not making regular income, as most businesses don't make a regular income, they make little bouts of them as they go, might suddenly think, oh, I can buy this new equipment, but not realizing that maybe I can't cash flow it over the 12 months got, uh, if I haven't looked at my historicals, and if
yep,
I don't have proper bookkeeping, I can't see the historicals. So this is such an important aspect with the financial intelligence side of things. Hannah, thank you. I am
the
more
pleasure is,
educated, but I'm also happy that we're getting this message out. I'm hoping that more and more people hear this and get the message out and pass this information on because it is so required. It's not just about you being in business because it was a convenience. I think I've seen, not I think, I know I've seen the passion, but also the frustration, the sense of more and more people need to see hear what has become a normality for you to recognize. Um, so I guess it's like a coronary doctor, heart doctor, seeing the
mm,
same problem over and over again. But to that patient who comes in, it's the first time, and they're all
yes,
stressed. But to the doctor, it's like I've seen this before: bad eating habits, or not enough exercise, or stress, or whatever. I've seen it before. So you have become immune to seeing this and recognizing it is a problem. But if we can prevent it before it gets to the place where people are unnecessarily being anxious and not enjoying their passion with their business, with their personal goals, then is there, they're missing out on that momentum of building a business for the purpose of it serving them, not the other way around.
yes. I love it. It's serving them, not the other way around, and it's building your legacy.
Yes, not just leaving one, but you're living it.
Yes, yes. And thank you for having me. And as always, pleasure talking to you. We could spend hours talking.
I think so. And it's actually made me more excited about it, whereas I don't always like talking about books and taxes and things, but I'm
Now
actually
it's exciting for you, you see? You're converted.
yes, converted almost. Yeah. No, I am. I think your personality converted me from the beginning. The information, if I'm being um, uh, transparent and truthful, is yeah. As a business owner, sometimes we put that as the most, knowing it's an important aspect. Um, it's not exciting enough to put your finger on it until it's tax time, and then you quickly go and like I would put aside every year 2 weeks just to go do my books.
Yeah.
Um, and it was horrendous because I procrastinate sometimes, or if there's something passionately happening in my business that I really felt I need to focus on, then I'd put it aside, procrastinate, then 3 months would pass, 6 months would pass.
Yeah.
Whereas now I can see just consistency. And, my wife and I were talking about that this morning, going to the gym. Why do we go on a consistent basis? Because we want to see consistent results. And just going once and having a huge workout isn't going to be any more beneficial than small, consistent ones 3, 4 times a week. So I guess what I'm hearing here is small, consistent steps of having software stuff happening in the background. You got all these workers in terms of software, in terms of you, in terms of the company. It's in the end going to benefit and grow the business into a much more healthy entity than it will be if we don't do anything.
100%. Well said and summarized.
Thank you again, and looking forward to the next episode with you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah.